It was a Tuesday in April, around 3:30 p.m., when I boarded bus 875 on Avenida Paulista. The bus was packed, as it always was at that hour. I was coming back from a doctor's appointment, carrying my crochet bag and a pharmacy bag filled with medicines. At 63, my body was already feeling the weight of the years, but I was proud of my work. I still get around well, but I need to hold on tight to the bus's handrails. I managed to find a spot in the middle of the aisle, near the priority seat where a young mother sat with her approximately 4-year-old child on her lap. The boy was restless, crying softly. His mother, who looked to be around 25, tried to calm him. "Calm down, Miguel, we're almost home." But something about the child's cry caught my attention. It wasn't a typical tantrum or a cry of tiredness. It was a weak moan, almost a whimper. The boy was pale, sweating, and breathing irregularly. I moved a little closer. "Excuse me, young lady, is your son okay?" She looked at me with irritation. "Yes, he's fine. He's just sleepy. But look at how he's breathing. And that pallor. Please, I know my son. He's just tired." Other passengers started to notice us. A man of about 30 commented loudly, "There's always some nosy old woman wanting to give advice about other people's kids." A woman agreed. "True. These elderly people think they know everything." But I couldn't take my eyes off the boy. I'd worked for 40 years as a nursing assistant and recognized alarm signs. Miguel wasn't just tired. His breathing was rapid and shallow, he was cold sweating, and his lips were slightly bluish. "Young lady," I tried again, "your son might have a respiratory problem. Look at the color of his lips." "My God," she exploded. "Aren't you going to leave me alone? My son is fine." The same young man who had commented earlier interfered. "Hey, Grandma, stop bothering the lady. Everyone minds their own business." "That's right," shouted another passenger. "Crazy old lady wanting to cause trouble." Several people started murmuring in agreement. I heard comments like, "There's always one of those, and they should ban these people from meddling in other people's lives." I felt embarrassed, but my concern for the child was greater than my pride. Miguel was now barely responsive in his mother's lap. His head was hanging to the side. "Please," I insisted once more, "look at him. He's losing consciousness." The mother finally looked at her son more closely. Miguel's eyes were glazed over, and he was breathing with difficulty. Miguel, answer mommy," she began to despair. Suddenly, the boy had a seizure. His little body stiffened and began to tremble violently in his mother's lap. "My God! My son!" she screamed, desperate. The entire bus turned to see what was happening. The same audience that had called me a crazy old lady was now in a panic. Without hesitation, I turned to the mother. "Calm down, I'll help. Put him on the floor, on his side." "Do you know what you're doing?" asked the driver, stopping the bus. "I was a nursing assistant for 40 years. Trust me." I helped place Miguel on the bus floor, on his side, to prevent him from aspirating saliva. The seizure lasted about a minute, which felt eternal. "Can someone call SAMU, emergency services?" I asked. Several people grabbed their cell phones simultaneously. After the seizure, Miguel became unconscious. I checked his breathing and pulse. He was breathing, but very weakly. How was he before the seizure started? I asked the mother, who was crying desperately. He complained of a headache this morning. Said the light bothered him. I thought it was just a common headache. My heart pounded. Headache, photophobia, altered mental status, seizure. All signs pointed to meningitis. "We need to get him to the hospital immediately," I told the driver. "It could be meningitis." Meningitis? The mother became even more desperate. "My God, is my baby going to die?" "He's not going to die. But the faster we get to the hospital, the better." The driver turned on the emergency signal and began to clear a path through traffic. The passengers, previously critical, now cooperated. "Is there anything I can do?" asked the young man who had called me a crazy old lady. "You can help me keep him on his side and monitor his breathing." During the ride to the nearest hospital, I kept Miguel stable. His temperature was very high, a sign of fever. I used moist wipes that passengers offered to cool his forehead. The mother held my hand. I'm sorry I was rude. You were right from the start. What matters now is your son. You couldn't have known. We arrived at Hospital São Camilo in 15 minutes. The medical team was already waiting. Samu had informed them of our arrival. What do we have here? Asked the emergency doctor. 4-year-old child, condition started with headache and photophobia in the morning, progressed to altered consciousness and tonic-clonic seizure. Suspected meningitis, I reported professionally. The doctor looked at me in surprise. Are you from the medical field? Retired nursing assistant. Excellent assessment. Let's get him to the emergency room immediately. While the team prepared Miguel for tests, his mother hugged me, crying, "Thank you. If it weren't for you." The bus passengers, who had gotten off to follow, were visibly embarrassed. The young man who had offended me approached. I apologize. I was very rude. You saved that child's life. And I apologize too, said the woman who had agreed with him. We judged wrong. Other passengers approached, apologizing. The driver came to speak with me. In 20 years of driving a bus, I've never seen anything like it. You're an angel. 2 hours later, the doctor came out with news. We confirmed bacterial meningitis, but we caught it early. The boy will recover completely. If they had delayed a few more hours. Miguel's mother cried with relief. Dr. Rosa, she called me that now. How can I thank you? By taking good care of your son. And always trusting your mother's instinct when something isn't right. The doctor pulled me aside. Your assessment was perfect. Few professionals would have identified the signs so early. Experience teaches us to observe. When we left the hospital, the bus passengers were waiting. They had organized themselves and bought flowers. We wanted to formally apologize, the young man said. And thank you for teaching us a lesson about not judging people. An elderly woman who was also on the bus approached. Thank you for showing that our experience is worth something. Sometimes we feel invisible. We are never invisible when we can help someone, I replied. The driver insisted on driving me home for free. During the journey, he reflected, it's amazing how quickly we judge, isn't it? You were called crazy, but in reality, you were the only one who saw the situation. People do that out of fear. Fear of getting involved, of taking responsibility. But when a child's life is at risk, we can't be afraid. 3 weeks later, I received a letter from Miguel. He still couldn't write well, but with his mother's help, he drew a heart and wrote, "Thank you, Grandma Rosa." His mother attached a photo of him playing in the park, completely recovered, and a letter, "Dr. Rosa, Miguel is doing great. The doctors said that if it weren't for your quick identification, he could have had serious sequelae or even. I can't even think about it. Thank you for insisting even when everyone doubted. Thank you for not giving up on my son." I keep that letter in my crochet bag. It reminds me that our life experience has value, even when others don't recognize it. And that sometimes being called crazy is a small price to pay for saving a life. Since then, whenever I take that bus, the regular passengers greet me warmly. The driver always saves a seat for me. And I continue to observe, because we never know when our experience can make a difference in someone's life.